This is for Math 8. We are going to approximate square roots. We're going to take the irrational numbers. You've just got practice of kind of picking what two integers the irrational number is going to fall between, but now we need to be a little bit more specific, and we need to find it to the nearest tenth without using a calculator. So in your notes, you're going to go ahead and follow along with me on the first couple ones that we do together, and then you're going to have a time to practice on your own. So here's our problem. We're going to approximate the square root of 27. Step 1, determine the consecutive whole numbers square root of 27 is in between. So square root of 27 is the irrational number. Now 27, square root of 27, and you're going to use your yellow sheet, you guys. So square root of 27 falls between square root of 25 and square root of 36. So the lower perfect square, it's in between square root of 25 and in between square root of 36. Now, square root of 25, what do you have that equal to? You have that equal to 5. Square root of 36 is going to be 6. So we know square root of 27 is going to be between 5 and 6. But now we need to be a little bit more specific, and we need to know where. If we had to place it on a number line, where is square root of 27 going to go between? So since it's closer to 25, we know it's going to be a little closer to 5, but we need to know a little bit more in the nearest tenth. So we are going to find the nearest tenth by hand by doing this. Simplify the following ratio, determine an approximate fraction or decimal. So we're going to take the irrational number, which is 27. So the square root of 27, so we're just going to take the number 27, minus the lower perfect square. So we're going to take the 27, I'm going to put it here. We're going to take the 25, the lower perfect square, and put it here. 27 minus 25 is 2. Then on the bottom, we're going to take the bigger perfect square, 36. So that's going to go there. Minus the lower perfect square, 25. So 36 minus 25 is going to be 11. So your fraction is going to be 2/11. Write a mixed number, then change the fraction to a decimal round to the nearest tenth. Square root of 27 is going to be between 5 and 6, so it can't be over 6. So we know this whole number is going to be 5. Now look at our fraction, 2/11. If you remember when you were doing the division page a couple days ago, what was the pattern with the 11s? I hope you're all saying that you multiply. This is going to be like it's times that. Now watch this though, be careful. Since the nearest tenth, 2 times 9 is 18. And so it's going to be 18 hundredths repeating. That looks like a terrible 8. But nearest tenth is that decimal, so this is going to be 5 and 2/10. The exact would be 5 and 1/8, like 18 hundredths repeating. And so 5 and 2/10. Now, if you don't remember that, remember you can divide out. The numerator goes inside, the denominator outside. And you can set up your division and set up your work over here in the margin. Kind of get that away from here. But if you need to do that. Okay, so let's look at the next one. And let's do this one together. All right, square root of 135. We're going to approximate square root of 135. So the first step, now here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep going back to here and see what did I write? How did I do this? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write the lower perfect square and the bigger perfect square. So square root of 135, I'm going to look at my yellow sheet. Square root of 135, it's going to fall between square root of 121 and square root of 144. So it's going to fall between those two perfect squares. Now, evaluate. Square root of 121 is 11. Square root of 144 is 12. So we know this number is going to fall between the integers 11 and 12. Okay, so now we go back here. Because I have to do this too, you guys. I have to go back to the notes and go, okay, how do we do this? So the irrational number, so we're going to take, be careful, don't write down these numbers. We're going to take 135 minus the lower perfect square, so 121, And then 135 minus 121 is going to be 14. All right, then we're going to take the larger perfect square here minus the lower. And then 144 minus 121 is going to be 23. Square root of 135 is going to be between 11 and 12, so it's going to be this 11. And it's going to be 14 23rds. Okay, well, I don't know by 23, by the 23rd by heart, so we're going to work it out of here. 14 goes inside, 23 on the outside. Now, I like to put decimal and 2 zeros. 23 won't go into 14, so I know that's 0. But 23 goes into 140. Now, I look at 20 into 140. 2 goes into 14 7 times. So that makes me think, okay, 23 times 6. So 18, that's 12, well, that's 138. So that's going to be 6. That's going to be 138. 140 minus 138 is 20. 23 won't go into 20, so that's 0. But I can stop right there because I want the nearest tenth. That 0 won't make that 6 go up. So my final answer here is going to be this 11 and 6/10. Okay, that's a good approximation. Now that's not going to be exact because 135, this really needs to be an approximate. But this square root of 135 is an irrational number, meaning it's going on forever. But if I just have to kind of place it on a number line, 11 and 6/10 would be close. All right, square root of 57. Why don't you go ahead and write down what are the 2 square roots that these square root of 57 falls between? Good. This is square root of 49, square root of 64. Square root of 49 is 7, square root of 64 is 8. Then we take our 57 minus the lower, the 49. 57 minus 49 is 8. And then the higher, 64 minus 49. This is all these always going to be the same. That's going to be 15. So we know the square root of 57 is going to be 7 and 8/15. Again, you might not know 15 right away, but look at this for a second. 8/15. That's close to 8 over what? 16. So I bet this is close to half. If not, rounded up is going to be half. So let's just check it. So we're going to have 8 inside, 15 on the outside, decimal, 2 zeros. Okay, now 15 into 80. Well, 15 times 3 is 45. So 6 is going to be 90. That's going to be too much. So let's do 15 times 5. And that is 25. That's 75. So that's 5. That's 75. So 80 minus 75 is 50, or 5, and then 50. 15 into 50 is going to be 3, and that's going to be 45. So right there I could stop, because that 3 won't make that go up to 0.6. So this is going to be 7.5. So that kind of gives a range that would place there. Okay, so your job is to continue finding the square root to the nearest tenth. Now, all of these need to be done. Don't just write square root of 63 in an answer here, all right? Because I know then you've done maybe a calculator. So you want to do and go back to the steps. So your job is to finish this front page and this back page. If you notice, though, some of these I just noticed are the same. There's a square root of 2. There's a square root of 2. I don't know if any of the other, oh gosh, this might all be the same. All right, guys, I just now noticed this. You're in luck. You're in luck. You're in luck. This is the same thing. So this is guided. Haha, you don't have 12 problems. You have 6 problems. You're in luck. So anyway, this is guided out. This will help you. All right, so you really just have 6 problems to do. The piece of cake. All right, see you Wednesday.